Hey guys, what's up? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And man, oh man, later on today, we are going to be having the state of play for PlayStation, and it's going to be 40 minutes long. So I'm saying that I'm guessing we're going to have at least 35 minutes of solid trailers and gameplay and stuff like that, reveals. And as time goes on, more and more rumors and leaks are starting to happen. And apparently, some of these insiders that have predicted certain things are seemingly pointing in the direction that they are true. So let's get right into that, because Sony is in a good position to where they can really accelerate their success at this point if they play their cards right. So obviously, people have been talking about a handful of things. And one of those things is Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne, people have been wanting a remaster or a remake or whatever you want to call it for Bloodborne, with increased for FPS, and I think that especially with the love that PC has been getting as far as old games are concerned, and as well as things like remasters are concerned, I think it would make all the sense in the world to not only have that come into fruition, not just because fans want it, but also because it gives the people that are on PC a chance to play a game that is absolutely legendary if they have not played it on the PS4 already. So I think this is a big deal. I myself, even though I haven't really played too much of it, it was one of the hard copies that I ended up buying months ago from GameStop, because quite frankly, I know what a legendary game Bloodborne is. It is arguably FromSoft's best game yet. Some people may agree, some people may disagree, but from everybody that I've seen, talk to online, as well as a few friends in real life, I remember asking one of them, like, okay, you got to pick Elden Ring or Bloodborne. And he basically said Bloodborne, but not by much. So Bloodborne is absolutely legendary. And the fact that there hasn't been a remaster yet, especially on PC with all the bells and whistles, and of course with the PS5, if they don't have something like that related to the game, I think they'd be missing out on a huge opportunity. But Sony's not stupid, so they know this, and I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened. And I know that a lot of fans are going to be talking about it, and people are going to be shitting their pants in excitement. And I personally would love to see that for the fans, as well as just the gaming community in general, because they've been requesting this for literally years. Now, another thing that a lot of people are excited about is Ghost of Yotei. So obviously, Ghost of Tsushima was an absolutely legendary game for PlayStation, and rightfully so. And it's even on PC as well. Again, rightfully so, and it's great to see. And we all love a good story. You get a good story, you get good gameplay, and all the bells and whistles of the visuals and the frames to go with it. How in the world can you not be excited for a sequel of Ghost of Tsushima, right? So I know some people are being a little controversial about the main character being a female, but again, if the story is done right, and if the gameplay is done right, and if the game is fun to play, and if it actually meshes very well, and it makes sense, and it's a worthy sequel, then it's like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? So this is definitely not the first time we've had a female in game, but again, it has to be done right? Like, for instance, let me give you an example. Ellen Ripley, or like, let's say, Sarah Connor from the Terminator franchise, right? Ripley and Sarah Connor are two of the most epic, badass females in the world of movies, right? And action movies as well. And one of the reasons why is because they were written correctly, right? They weren't they weren't forced into things or into the story just because of their sex. It's because of their story that a lot of fans just absolutely loved, right? It's like as if them being a female was just taken out of the equation, despite the fact that they're actually female. So ultimately, again, it's about the story, and it's about everything just fitting in well, as opposed to something that's being forced, just for the sake of whatever, So let's hope they get that right. So let's continue on to something that I'm personally excited about, and that is God of War. So God of War, the Greek saga, so to speak, what it's rumored to be called, or the Greek saga collection, that's going to have 5 games. God of Wars 1, 2, 3, Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta, I believe the other one's called, that were on the PSP. Apparently all those are not only said to be remastered, and that it's actually not canceled, but there's also some word that there might be a chance that it might get shadow dropped. Now, obviously, this is a big grain of salt, but with that being said, it's still possible, right? And if it does get shadow dropped, and of course on PC as well, I think that is a huge win. And I think that we're not going to see the last of that, because we also know that Microsoft did this. They obviously did this a few years ago with Hi-Fi Rush, and then they did this recently with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So it's, again, if something works, some other people are going to follow suit. Okay. Sony ended up making a subscription service after a while, after the success of Game Pass for years, right? They were a little late to the party, but nonetheless, they made their own subscription service, right? So there you go. If something is successful, sooner or later, people are going to follow suit. And that's just the way it goes, right? I mean, look at the success of Fortnite. And then the next thing people have been trying to replicate Fortnite ever since, once they caught wind of it, right? Including Call of Duty itself, which was the biggest juggernaut of them all at one point, and then Fortnite did what it did. So ever since then, Call of Duty's been pretty much trying to do what Call of Duty does, and for itself, as well as having its cake and eating it too. So, but anyway, so yeah, that is definitely something very, very exciting. And another thing that recently has been making waves over the last week plus or so on YouTube, because even though I might go for a small stretch of not making any videos, that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to be aware of what's going on. And another word on the internet streets is that we are probably getting a Devil May Cry 1 or 3 remake, which would be pretty damn cool if you ask me. Especially with the voice actor who voices Virgil has been recently asked if he could go back and do his Devil May Cry 3 version, because as you guys know, as we naturally age, and Devil May Cry 3 was done over 20 years ago, so your voices change a little bit over time, right? And over a lot more time, voices change even more. So there had to be some adjustments that the voice actor had to make, but without saying the title, he did mention that they wanted him to change his voice back to the old Virgil of Devil May Cry 3. So a lot of people are saying that it's going to be like a Devil May Cry 1 remake or a Devil May Cry 3 remake. We don't know. Or it could even be a new Devil May Cry game. It could be a Devil May Cry 6 with a flashback to where you see, younger Virgil, and his voice is going to sound like younger Virgil. At this point, we really don't know. But all I know is that whenever there's a new Devil May Cry game that's going to come out, and it's made by Capcom, et cetera, I mean, how in the world can you not be excited, right? You're talking about arguably the greatest action game ever. But at the same time, we've also got Ninja Gaiden that's recently made a return. So if you think about it, like it's going to be the year of remasters, remakes, and action games. And I'm happy to see it, because I'm happy to see that Ninja Gaiden got the love that it did. I want Devil May Cry to get its love. It's been like, 5 years, maybe 6 years since Devil May Cry 5 came out or something like that. So again, you can't go wrong with these games. You know what I mean? These games are some of the greatest ever, and for good reason. So I personally would love to see what Capcom's doing. You can't really, there was one point in time where Capcom really went on a dry spell for quite a while, but they managed to get themselves out of it. They've picked it back up, and it's been great to see, Capcom back in form and making a good Devil May Cry game. I think it's something that pretty much anybody can appreciate in the gaming space, especially if you're a fan of not only the series and the genre, but also just when it comes to games in general, because quite frankly, Capcom has made a hell of a lot more great games than it's made bad games. That's for sure. And especially when it comes to Devil May Cry, some people would say that it's arguably the best action series / franchise out there, period. So if we get a new Devil May Cry, that'd be great. And of course, I would be open to any other remasters that we don't see coming. So many people have been wanting certain franchises to make a return. I've mentioned in one of my previous videos that I would like to see a Siphon Filter make a return. A lot of people are talking about Jack and Daxter, a Sly Cooper, and stuff like that. Again, PlayStation has all these franchises, and they've got all the opportunity in the world to not only bring those back in the form of remasters, but also sequels, right? So again, and those games were legendary in the past for good reason. So, and of course, the last thing I want to talk about before we end it here today is Grand Theft Auto 6. I think we're going to get another teaser of some kind, or another trailer of some kind with GTA 6. Now, before a while before the reveal of the official trailer that we got months ago from GTA 6, it's been whispered that GTA might tone it down in terms of how offensive it is. Obviously, even for a person who's not a fan of Grand Theft Auto, I would say that is definitely the wrong way to go, because that's part of what you're known for in the first place. That's part of what the franchise is known for in the first place. And you can't take the foundation of what put you there in the first place away. Because if you do that, you are going to not only piss a lot of people off, but you're not going to be as successful in due time, right? But Grand Theft Auto is a juggernaut, and it's the juggernaut that you can't really underestimate. Grand Theft Auto can actually afford to fuck up, believe it or not. They actually can. Especially if the word is true that they might charge $100 per game. And my answer to that is, well, I know that it's Grand Theft Auto, and chances are it's going to have a ton of content up the wazoo, especially when you look at Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as the game itself. But despite that, again, if you've been going in, if the company, or let's just say if the company itself has been going in the wrong direction when it came to certain decisions that they've made, or if a publisher went in the wrong direction in the certain decisions that they've made, and the game has to make up for it or whatnot, it's like, well, you really shouldn't be charging your fans extra money so that way you can cover up for your mistakes. You need to make up for your mistakes and just give us a good product for the price that the product should be, and that's $70. So again, I know for a lot of people that Grand Theft Auto as a base price for $100 would be worth it because of the sheer amount of content. But at the same time, you never know. They might have, some sort of microtransaction system in there or something like that, or if they already do, and please forgive me, I don't play GTA Online, but if they do, or if they, whether they do now, don't be surprised if they double up on it, as well as, or double down on it, as well as if they don't, they could actually introduce that. Because again, when it comes to microtransactions, we all know that the financial success it brings, even if it waters down your game, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, very sadly. Okay. And this is coming from a content creator that knows exactly what that can do to the quality of your game, because it's done that with other franchises out there. Need I say more? So with that being said, I want to know if there's anything in particular that you guys are looking forward to in the presentation tomorrow from the State of Play. Is there anything that's been rumored that I pretty much haven't mentioned? I mean, obviously I haven't mentioned everything, and I don't know everything in terms of the rumors, but those are just a few of the things that I'm interested in and that I kind of have my eyes peeled for. And at the same time, whenever it comes to a presentation like this, I'm always looking for something that I didn't expect that would pleasantly surprise me. And of course, I hope that whatever they bring back, I hope that the PC platform gets some love, because I obviously don't have a PS5. And at the same time, if it's a game that was released in the past and you bring it to today and you shadow drop it again, I think 70% of nothing of something is better than 0% of nothing. So, but anyway, with that being said, guys, I'd like to know what you guys think and what you guys are possibly excited for, and what you want to see into the presentation today later on. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.